What's up, guys? Welcome to AfterBuzz TV, our recap tonight for Champs vs. Stars, Episode 5. Jose is finally out to play this season, and it was a wrestling elimination. And we have no other than the Brooke Hogan in studio with us tonight to break it all down for us, so be back in just a second.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Been here a while.
Jerry! Brooke!
I like the vibe.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
Woo!
What is
Just
that?
gonna let it play, I
What is
guess.
that?
Yeah. It's some country.
If you guys don't know, now you know. This is Brooke Hogan blessing us in person and also through our
sound waves.
speakers right now. In our
AfterBuzz
sound waves.
TV.
So you just dropped an EP.
I did,
right?
yeah, and it was like totally unexpected. Everybody in the music industry wants to be like, don't release your stuff without a label and do it this way. And I was like, I've been sitting on this stuff and I've written like hundreds of songs in Nashville. I'm gonna release it. Like, and if people like it, fine. If not, I'll probably do hip hop next. I don't really care.
Right.
I'm like,
EDM.
nowadays you can do anything, and
Yeah.
the thing is like as a songwriter too, you can do anything. You know, it's like I've learned how to write country. I know how to write hooks for rappers. I know how to write for little kid pop groups for
Hooks
Disney
for
and stuff.
rappers.
That's
We
a
gotta
stretch.
get
Yeah.
all into that later, and we will talk
yeah.
about your music
I want to see
career.
freestyle.
We're going to talk about tonight's episode, episode 5, Fire in the Heart, Ice in the Veins. My name is Jenna Bussiere. Thank you for joining us tonight. We got our Phil Pamela and we got Brooke in studio, so let's go around and see what's happening tonight.
What up? Challenge fanatic Justin Yang at your service. Super excited to be here and to have Brooke Hogan in the house.
Yeah.
Pam is
Awesome.
back. She was in Jersey
She's back.
last
Back
week.
All
from
right.
New Jersey.
We are blessed again with Pam's presence. How
Yes.
you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm very, very glad for Brooke to be here. Super excited to dive into this
You guys
and
are
get
making me
the.
blush.
I know. Well, I mean, we've been really excited to have you here, and I can't wait to get. We got this little insider knowledge gang.
We
she
do.
was starting to dish some behind the scenes stuff, and we were like, we gotta save
And
it.
we
for
gotta
the
take a
fans.
stopper.
Yeah, we gotta save it. But I want to get a little deeper into some of the behind the scenes of the hockey playing and what went down there. So welcome.
Okay, well,
and to
thank
you
you.
all in the chat, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
So there are people in a chat.
Yeah,
Yes,
live.
literally
watching
He's
right now.
monitoring it.
Yeah,
So
right
if you
now.
have
You
questions,
can't see them.
I know,
Yeah.
you can't see them.
Like, where are they?
They're under
They're
the
talking.
couch.
They're here.
They're under the
Yes.
Whoa!
If there's any questions you guys want to ask, also just drop it in the chat.
Yeah.
And as always, holding it down all the way at the left end, we got DPR.
David Polkart Christopher, what's going on, guys? Welcome again. Welcome, Brooke. I'm
Thank you.
stoked to have you here. It's gonna be a fun show. It's
That's
gonna be
our
an
good like
awesome show.
welcoming
Yes,
committee.
yes.
I feel
Yeah.
Yeah.
pumped up.
You guys, Brooke's
right.
here.
Brooke,
tonight.
we are very excited to have you
We
in. You
are.
are a fan favorite of this season since episode 1, and one of my favorite moments was Jerry Springer.
You heard me.
You
Somebody
heard
was
me.
like, it's almost like they gave you lines like, "This is Jerry." What's my line? Springer.
Right.
The dramatic pause.
Yeah.
This is Jerry Springer. From that moment, I was like,
Which
yes.
I was saying, like, your set kind of looks like Jerry Springer, and then the lights started going off. I was like,
This is so Jerry.
It's
Where are
very
the
like
Jerry beats?
1990s.
yeah.
And that's
yeah.
what you were saying before we went live, and that you're actually a huge fan of Jerry Springer.
Oh
so
my gosh.
is that what it felt like being on the challenge? That it was all the drama? You felt almost like Jerry Springer?
Well, what's so crazy is like it kind of shifted, and I don't know, every person brings a different dynamic to a situation. And I don't know, I don't watch TV really at all. So I didn't know that everybody had a huge crush on CT and like this dad bod was a new
legend.
thing. I'm like, okay, I don't know who any of these people are. And then I'm realizing they've been on TV for seasons, did more
right.
TV than I've ever done. And I'm like, holy cow. But yeah, no, it did feel like Jerry Springer at first because I think what people maybe do or don't understand was this particular show was for charity. So, it's kind of like, yes, I'm sure some of them are getting paychecks from MTV and this and that for being there every week. But when they do the real challenge, they are really, truly, genuinely competing for this huge amount of money. So it really is like a going for the jugular kind of game. And I think that they brought that into this situation that they didn't have to be that serious about.
Yeah.
And on top of it, now, I'm friends with a lot of them. I tell them, I'm like, man, you guys are really good TV. Like, you're really good on camera. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
takes,
For sure.
it's almost like they kind of know what to do to be good on camera, but I hadn't done TV in like 8 years. I just decided to go to Nashville and be normal. And I was a little bit scared to go back on TV
Really?
because I was younger when I was on it, and people are like, "Oh, didn't that start your family implosion?" And sometimes I'd be like, "No," but then sometimes you think, "Did it? I don't know."
Right.
So I'm like, God, I don't want my life to fall apart again. So I was scared, and then when things broke out with Kayla and Shane and this and that, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm in this pool of negativity." And I've worked so hard to like come out of show business and be a normal person and be a positive force in my life that it was kind of like taking 10 steps back.
That was so awesome, and you were the voice that I think was needed, especially because you did it in such a respectful way that they couldn't come back at you.
Well, I cussed, and then I said, "Don't cuss."
Respectful is in a way that they would have to respect you for what you said. Like, you put them in your place. Saying you're Jerry Springer right now, nobody really wants to hear that about themselves. That the drama they're bringing is
I would
something
laugh.
like
I think it's
Mardi
kinda
Gras.
funny.
Yeah.
Well, what we thought, and when we recapped that episode, check it out. If you didn't, was that we were like, oh, it's the kind of I would have felt if I were them, like, oh, I don't want Brooke to be disappointed in me. Like, it's not that because you weren't mean or overly scolding. It was just like, think about that.
I'm like a mom.
Right.
And it's funny because I don't have kids, but I feel this mom essence that I bring into the room. And people really like are like, one of my friends got a tattoo and didn't want to tell me. And I'm like, I'm not your mother. Like, calm down. But what's so funny is Kayla, I didn't know this. Kayla, I guess, watched Brooke Knows Best and Hogan Knows Best as a kid. And I'm walking in there thinking all these people are my age. Here we go back to the age thing.
Right.
And they're kids. And I'm like, well, first of all, I'm like, if I was your mother, I'd wash your mouth out with soap right now. But she was like a fan of Brooke Hogan.
Right.
And I was like, you're Jerry Springer.
Right.
Crushed her little heart.
I'm kind of curious to see like how many people even knew who Jerry Springer was, or in that sense, because like there's so many young people on the show, right? So if you were to drop a bunch of references, and of course, I would assume that everybody knows who your dad is, even if you're not even a wrestling fan. But I mean, there's just such a huge like
so
age
90s.
Difference. Yeah, it's
like
so
they
90s.
were 5 when Jerry Springer
I
was
think
Exactly,
Jerry
right?
Springer's on the zeitgeist, though. Like, I think that penetrates. I don't think a lot of people don't know that reference, even from growing up, to like what that means.
I guess I could have said like Trailer Park or
Trailer Park, like something
Maury,
like
I mean,
I would know. I'm from Florida.
well, Maury's like so relevant now. So when you are not the father.
Maury.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying that you didn't even know Drake Bell when you walked up,
I
right?
didn't.
Everybody was gushing over him.
my
You had
God.
no idea who he was.
Kayla and Tori were like, oh my God, Drake. I'm like, I mean, he's like good looking, but he's like a cute little guy.
Yeah,
but
it's
I'm
like-
like, what?
yeah.
I didn't know. And they're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
like Drake and Josh or whatever.
You're like
who?
Drake.
And it's like a Hannah Montana for boys.
Well,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
me some Hannah Montana.
I
And you're like,
think.
who the hell?
Hey, it looks like one of those shows. I haven't watched it, but I Googled him.
it is
But
one of
yeah,
those.
okay.
Then you got to know Drake on a personal level, even without knowing him on Nickelodeon, and you
Yeah.
were dishing a little bit off the camera out.
First
in
of
the
all,
studio.
he's actually very down to earth and a really, really nice guy. And somehow he gets away with being like a mini Mariah Carey. It's crazy. And it was so funny to all of us because I think it is, he's not like a 6'5" guy. He's kind of smaller. And he's very chill. He's like, dude, bro, like calm down. Like, he's kind of like not a stoner, but he acts like one.
California.
And then he's just like, and
What
then
is that,
out
bruh?
of nowhere, where's our food? Why are we sitting on this bus? What are we doing? And I'm like, oh, my dad would have my throat. And
Really?
like, oh my gosh, my parents like taught us not to talk back. I mean, when Kayla was like, I don't know who you think you are.
Ooh.
Oh my God. I was like, ooh, don't you talk to your elders like that.
Right.
And that is so
So
funny.
many
You
body
having your entire teenage years, impressionable years of your life documented on reality TV, used to having the cameras around, and now you're thrust in a situation which is for charity. You're going in and you're with all these lunatics. You had no idea what you were getting yourself into.
Well, something that you brought up actually that I was talking with some of the kids, some of the kids with
Some
that.
of the kids.
I sound so old.
There's nothing, you're not even old.
But
You're
I
not-
just
you're
turned
not
30.
old.
Oh my God!
I'm
You're
super
very
young.
young.
Yeah.
I mean, I love you're like these kids. Like
Like
they're
old soul, though.
3 years younger than you.
I feel
something
like I
that.
have like lived so many lifetimes.
Well,
but
happy belated birthday.
thank
Yeah.
you.
I think
That's
like
awesome.
CT's older than you.
Yeah.
Probably.
CT's like
but
close to
I don't
40.
know.
You know,
Yeah.
all those guys are pretty much like
They're in their late 30s.
But you said something about being young and being on TV, and that's something that I told them when the cameras were off. I said, hey, you guys do make great TV. You're good at what you do. But you have to remember that after TV, after this lifetime, when you're old, when you have kids, when you're on your deathbed, whatever, all of this is fake and goes away. And you do have a ripple effect on this. And kids that are 16, 17 years old are watching you, Kayla, and
Totally.
watching how you speak to people. And those
Yes.
kids are going to go talk back to their mom, or they're going to do, they're going to be unruly. And you can make good TV without doing the trashy thing. And you really do have to think about that you're affecting so many lives and so many children and impressionable people, even adults.
That's such a good point.
Very
actually.
wise.
You're too good
100%.
for the challenge.
Yes.
I think that because what you're saying is so spot on, but it does not relate to this show.
But
These
we
people
changed
are
the
there for
dynamic
that
throughout the
reason.
show. We
Good.
did actually, because Salida, Tori is really like a spiritual, like old soul.
love
We're
Tori,
kind of like
yeah.
twins almost. Believe it or not, Shane is actually a really fantastic human being.
I like Shane. I'm a
doesn't
fan
come
of
off that
Shane.
way.
it doesn't.
I like Shane.
He
I'm
doesn't
sure
come
it's
off
the
that way.
edit. He
But the
seems.
thing is editing does take away
course,
so
it
much.
does.
Like
Right.
we were talking about
Right.
when Jose was like twirly dancing around the hockey stick. I'm like, Jose, seriously? They edited everything, and Shane is just blowing veins out of his face, yelling at Jose.
Which seems to us, not knowing the
Shane's so rude,
backstory,
right.
that he's
Yeah.
insane. Like, who cares?
I thought it was
Yeah.
funny.
So
I
let's,
thought it was
since
funny.
we
Yeah.
talked outside of this room,
Yeah.
we know what's
We'll
going
set
on.
it up.
Everybody
We'll
in our
set it
live
up.
chat's probably thinking, what are they talking about? Because I had the same thought when I was watching this challenge. I'm thinking, what is Jose doing? It was hysterical, the way he was moving his stick. So let's then jump into the challenge of the day. What did you guys know about Jose that we did not see, that edit left out?
So something I can't totally remember, but something happened that Jose was butthurt about, which I love that saying. I love saying butthurt. I hope we can say that. But it's so
Say it all
good.
night.
But is
Somebody
allowed.
hurt his butt, and he was mad about something, and he really is convinced. I like him a lot, but he's convinced that he is like this mastermind, and he knows. And I think he's just lucky. Because somehow, or he like speaks it into the universe and it happens for him, or some crazy. That's why I was like, he's a warlock or something.
He
Yes.
speaks
He
it
was-
into
yeah,
the
he
universe.
was
That
mad about
sounds very LA.
Yeah, he spoke it into the universe, like overheard LA.
Yes.
He
Like,
manifested
Oh,
it.
your baby's crying. Maybe you should give it a bottle. No, she's a tourist.
It's one of those.
And she's strong like bull.
Yeah. So, but Jose actually, when all the cameras were off the night before, got all of us girls, me, Salida, and Lil Mama, and everybody in our hotel rooms, you know, while we're getting ready for bed and washing our face. And he's like, you guys, I'm going to throw the competition tomorrow. I'm going to throw it. We're going to lose. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to make sure that we lose. For some mastermind reason he wanted, we're like, don't make us lose, Jose. And that was like the third time he said that. And we were like, we can't trust having him on a team because he's going to take us all down with him.
Yeah.
I don't understand how this is a mastermind plan.
It's
What
weird
was he
because I've
thinking?
noticed that a
we
lot.
never knew. We were like, what?
Yeah.
Even the champs, like, because I became friends with some of the champs, because I told them, I'm like, you guys, this is getting too crazy for me. Like, I just want to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
They started
Yeah.
calling me prom queen. But I was like, just having conversations with them, like, after the cameras, and everybody's like, we don't know. Nobody could figure out, like, why Jose. And really, honestly, everything he planned, like, yes, things worked out for him, but not because he planned it.
Right. Coincidentally.
Yeah, it was a
And
coincidence,
absolutely
yeah.
coincidentally.
Uh-huh.
It's just
Yeah.
interesting because when I see people who've never been on the challenge before and they think they have an idea, oh, I can play the big brother game in the challenge house, it never works out until you're actually on the challenge. But I gotta say, this guy has like the best, worst luck in the sense of where it's
Yeah.
like every single time you think he's gonna go home, for whatever reason, by the skin of his
honestly,
teeth, he just stays.
This is all we're seeing of him. This is the first time we've seen more than 30 seconds of Jose all season. I didn't even know
honestly-
what his voice sounded like
Yeah.
before this episode.
Oh, he's going to, I'm not going to say that.
Say it.
I was listening to him on the bus, and I was like, God, what does he remind me of? He sounds like Donkey from Shrek. And I'm like, oh my God, he does
Oh,
it. And he
does.
hated that I called him that, but we were friends, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you do, and it's so cute.
Right.
But he
Shout out to
sounds like Eddie Murphy.
It's
Yeah, shout out to
moderately
Eddie Murphy.
Or
exaggerated.
the
Like,
dragon from Mulan.
Right.
How about I pop one of your
Which is-
antennas off, you know? But that's what he sounds like.
Which is also Eddie Murphy as well.
Yeah, exactly. Same voice, yeah. So,
Yeah.
That is so
good
funny.
spot.
Yeah.
So basically,
So-
he sounds like Eddie Murphy.
Basically sounds like Eddie Murphy.
So him sucking at this challenge then was completely on purpose. But Shane didn't know. None of the stars knew. None of the champs knew.
Well,
only
at
you
some
and
point-
the
team
At
didn't
some
know.
point, though, I was friends with some of the champs at that point, like Ashley and Shane, and I was like, dude, I have to ask you for real, like, please, like, over a glass of wine, no cameras. We as stars can't figure out what the heck he's doing.
Right.
Do you think he knows something we don't know? Like, because now at this point, we're ready to kick him off as stars. We're like, we're done with this guy because he was just making it stressful.
And
you know?
it seems like the red team more than the blue team for sure. You guys genuinely are playing well as a team, getting along. That for him, unless there's something you as really being on the show and us the viewers are all missing, there doesn't seem to be
It's-
any strategy there. It just seems like a TV grabbing move, which didn't even work either.
To
Like,
get
did you want
camera time.
airtime?
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
just
here's
so
here's an
strange.
interesting question from the chat. C-Dub says they ganged up on Jose. So do you think, interesting enough, the fact CT was the one who missed the goal. So how come no one was blaming CT and they're blaming Jose?
The thing is you only saw, like, we had, like, 18 rounds of this game. I mean, we were so dead tired and you'd think it doesn't look hard at all. All these challenges don't look that hard. And then you get in there and you're
they
like,
look hard.
I was winded, and I run, like, 4 miles a day, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. But no, CT, all of our red team actually did pretty well that day, I remember. But it was just a matter of, like, it was such an awkward game that it was really, like...
Because, I mean, the fact is, like, you have to awkwardly move the stick. You can't move it to the full, like, flexibility of the actual stick. So, I mean, it looks a lot harder. And even last week's challenge looked ridiculously difficult.
Yeah.
You know, props up to you for...
Because, like, hockey, you want to flick your wrist or have, like, some mobility.
Move, right?
And it's stuck, so
that.
you can't... You're, like... It feels like what's the game like this?
Foosball. Yeah.
So
But you're actually, it feels like you're playing foosball on your stick. It's so weird.
Yeah.
So you knew that whole time he wanted to throw the challenge, because if I was on his team,
He kept saying it. I'm like,
Oh my god.
it's just his movement though was hysterical. He could not figure it out. It just looked like he was terrible
that's
at the
why
game.
Shane was so
That's hilarious.
And the more I watch Shane on TV, the more I love him. I started calling him my gay husband because I was like, oh my god, I love Shane even more because he's so direct and to the point. And like everything he says, like when you're really in there and you've seen everything go down, you're like, he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're making Shane look bad, is what you were kind of saying.
Yeah, and you know it's funny though because Shane knows that he's like the villain. It's almost like Hulk Hogan with the NWO, and you know, and he's like, that's what I do.
Embrace it.
And I'm like, hey man, laugh your way to the bank. Just do your thing, you
Exactly.
know. And just as long as you're good to people, you know, in real life.
Exactly.
Well, going back to what you said about Kayla and the way, I do think this is just back to your wise words. It's true that you should treat people well. There's something about that that rubs me the wrong way watching. There's good TV. CT's great TV. Casper's great TV.
Yeah.
They're not being just disrespectful people. And when that happens, because I love most of the regular cast and I enjoy the garbage and the drama, but there's a point where it does need an outsider to step in and say, like, that's not a cool way to treat people, and it does have ramifications because you are on TV. You're not just sitting
And
there.
then I also saw in an Us Weekly interview I think you did after the whole Jerry Springer Kayla incident, didn't you say you called your dad and you cried about the drama after
Oh my
the
god,
fact?
I did because it rocked me because I had spent so much time away from just this whole world and really loved it. Like and I love music and TV was fun and I really liked the production of it and the behind the scenes of it, which I'm getting into more, but I feel like just because of the family we're in and because I did music and people were interested that I was doing music and my dad was like a stage dad, it kind of spiraled into this thing that if I had a different way in life, I would have maybe been a marine biologist, you know, like, so it's not like I'm this fame hooker that, you know, wants to be famous. So I went away and I really enjoyed it. So coming back was like, oh my God, you know, but I have to come back to get back into that production and get back into what I want to do in this business.
Yeah,
so
you were a product of your environment. You can't help that your dad was so famous and the cameras came and the reality
That's a
TV
blessing,
show
too.
contracts
It's- yeah.
came.
It's not a bad thing to be the daughter of Hulk Hogan.
No, he's a great dad and such
I
an
actually,
icon.
I remembered Hogan Knows Best a little bit from growing up, and I knew that you had your own spin-off show. But in preparation for tonight, I said, let me go back and see if there's a clip online. Let me just get a feeling again for the family dynamic. Maybe I'll see something in Brooke in the show. I didn't realize, again, how heavily involved you were in that show. And so I thought there was just going to be a clip. And I found an entire episode on Daily Motion, and within seconds, it was Hulk. Some jabroni wants to date my daughter. And the entire episode was about you at 16 years old trying to go on one date.
My first date, that was
Him
the first
putting
episode.
he put a tracking device on your car.
I watched. I remember that episode.
Yeah,
I did watch it.
that was the
yes,
first episode.
I watched.
So was that truly what it was like for you growing up? And
Well, my mom was the one that was breathing down our throat. But
Oh,
it was
really?
it was the dynamic though that people loved of like the overprotective dad
Yeah,
and
of
the
course.
kids and stuff. And those
Right.
episodes we do more and more of me dating and my dad weighing in because that's what rated.
Right.
You know, so
Oh,
now
really?
it was like and then it actually, at first we were like, who can she date? Like, let's pick somebody. And then it was like, I actually had a love life and I was like, I'm not going to do this having a boyfriend. So then they really started getting into people I was really dating. And I'm like,
Oh no.
yeah, but it was fun.
Well,
We
Brooke,
had-
you talked about obviously stepping away for a while, now coming back, and then you got this whole new experience again. Going forward, is this something that you're going to embrace and continue on with, or you just kind of, this was nice, this is fun, and then I'm going to kind of focus again away?
Well, I realized that, you know, it's like that saying, with power comes great responsibility.
Spider-Man reference. Thank you.
Something like that. Yeah. I realized like, hey, if God is giving me this opportunity to do what I get to do and it is a positive thing and it's a blessing, that I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm going to use myself as a tool to try to change the dynamic, which is kind of what happened on the show. And Shane at the end was like, thank you for continuing to be that prom queen, because we actually were able to have fun towards the end of it and not worry so much about the competition, and everybody was like friends at the end. It was great.
And that's what we've said on the show before too. I appreciate the irony so much that you're Hulk Hogan's daughter and been in wrestling yourself, and it's supposed to be this crazy tough persona, but you're showing so much vulnerability on the show.
I am my daddy's daughter. He's
Yeah.
like,
There's just so
Rise of
much.
the Lion King.
There's so much expectation because I'm pretty sure a lot of people size you up and like, oh, dude, like you're nothing like the stage presence of what your dad is.
Well, Brooke, I will say I gave you a hard time last week on the show.
Did you?
I
Oh, for
did.
quitting?
I did
Yeah.
for quitting.
I was the one who had your back.
Again,
I was the only
editing
one.
And
is
I'll
so
admit it.
crazy.
I'll admit
Yeah.
it because I respect your father and all that, right? So I expect a lot out of you too, and again, I know how TV works. So but I did say I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I expected a
So
little more out of you.
let's go back to that and
was-
talk more
yeah.
about your decision not to participate in that challenge. I mean, you ended up being the right one. You were smart
So
because
smart.
Elisa left with a broken foot.
Well, so
Yeah.
beginning to end, you think having a yoga ball in front of you is gonna like brace your fall, but really what ended up happening was like this whiplash effect thing
Right.
with your lower back and your neck. And I had some back issues before that I had gotten over, and I felt it start. And this was like not a back issue, like, oh, it's gonna hurt for a couple days. Like where I
Right.
had sciatic pinched nerves that I couldn't actually walk, like for a
Right.
long
Yeah.
time. I couldn't pick up my dog's bowls. And I was like, I value my health so much. And I'm
Yeah.
like, for one TV show, I have to go back to my life after this.
Right.
And this is really bad. And honestly, because I was Brooke Hogan, what they didn't show, all the boys were like, Tony, Wes, CT, these guys were as big, if not bigger than I was.
Yeah.
And they were really looking to plow me because I think that
Right.
they think that I'm like a
Of
superhuman.
course.
And I'm like, no, I am
They were
5'10"
trying to
and I'm a
test
girl.
you.
Or you could basically say,
Right.
oh, I plowed,
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan's daughter and like
Yep.
all this other
and
stuff.
they really wanted me to go
Not
punt, and
literally plowing.
right
Sorry.
when you go punt
way
this
that
ball,
came
Bad choice
out.
of words.
everybody charges you. And
Right.
I got in my head and I was like, you know what? It was one of those gut instincts where I was like, it's just not effing worth it. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally agreed with you, and that's the reason why I said strategically think about it. What happens if that was you who got hurt? You would have been off the show.
I would have been like, I shouldn't have gone out there, and I broke
Exactly.
my leg. And this
Like,
was
told
the
you
thing
so.
that they didn't show, and I thought that they were really going to work this in because it was such a good like drama thing. Was everybody was actually like not feeling it and getting hurt along the way, and they were like,
Yeah.
man, like almost. I'm not going to say that it wasn't tested properly, but when these guys make the game and the stunt guys
course,
test the
yeah.
game, they're not going at it full bore like we are.
Right.
So everybody at some point
Got hurt.
was like, yeah, guys, no, we don't want to do this anymore. Like they were telling production, like, this isn't safe. We don't want to
Yeah.
do it. And a lot of people got hurt. Ashley smashed her nose into the
Yeah.
ground. I mean, you shouldn't have little tiny girls like
That's the
Ashley and
thing.
guys as big as
Well, Anissa
CT.
is a perfect example.
Right.
With her ankle. That's horrible.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but there's my mom part coming
Yeah.
in. I'm like, if everybody says jump off the bridge, are you gonna do
Yeah.
it? I'm like, I'm gonna be
Smart.
smart
No.
here.
Super smart.
So a lot of people are not wanting to participate anymore at this point. So
Oh,
then-
like everybody quit before the
Yeah.
game was over.
okay,
actually,
so then
yeah.
what is
But
this? Were
nobody
you
saw
mad
that.
then
Yeah.
with everything that happened with CT after the fact?
Well, Kayla, actually, who really worked her way into my heart, came up to me later. I think she really like had like a moment where she felt bad for me.
Yeah.
Because, and also too, I don't know if they showed this because I actually didn't watch the last episode, but some of the champs came back and were like, CT was actually acting really mad at you because he wanted to get inside your head and like make you quit.
Oh, it's like a psychological.
Yeah, they were trying to psychologically do
Yeah.
it. So I was like, oh, I didn't know. But Kayla came up to me and she said, Brooke, like, what people aren't telling you is everybody quit. Like, it was shortly after you quit that
Right.
even champs and stuff were starting to say, no, we don't want to do this anymore because it is dangerous.
Right.
So they only showed me quitting. And yes, it played for great TV.
Right.
So why is CT trying to get into your head to protect you from getting injured and
They
say he's
want
on
to
your
get
side?
rid of stars.
They
and
still
want to
get rid of stars.
strong stars.
Yeah, but
Right.
he
Well, I mean-
had such a camaraderie with you earlier.
He
'cause
doesn't care.
He
That
doesn't
was the
care.
game. Like, he
Yeah.
loved to meet Hulk Hogan, and we're still friends after.
I feel like
but
the whole
kick me
thing
off
is
the
they should have
show.
separated from the sex. I was telling it last
Yeah.
week. It's like if you would have done it. I mean, you can't have CT against Little Mama coming from behind.
Quite honestly, you
know,
can't
yeah.
have me against Little Mama.
Exactly.
Right,
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
So
it's
it's totally
just, it just
different.
wasn't really thought out.
That's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
annoying because he's butting up to you. He wants to FaceTime your dad when your dad calls in. Then the second he can,
Yeah.
he's not keeping you around at all.
There's a weird dynamic between like friendship and like really liking people off camera and like, oh, it's so cool to meet your dad. Mm-hmm. And then there's another thing where when you're shooting and when
Oh,
you're in
yeah.
the game, like, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
So-
step on you.
No. Oh no. I was just gonna say.
You were going to say something.
Oh, I don't even know. But it was that I just recently watched because I wasn't here last week. I just watched it last night, and he's not. I didn't take it as, I thought it was sort of sweet that you were so upset by CT. I think he also has that Papa Bear presence.
Yeah, he does.
That you don't want to upset, that makes you really be like, God, am I a quitter? And nobody wants to feel like a quitter.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, it's TV. They had to make a story of it. It was sweet. He bonded with your dad. You liked it. And then he sort of bothered you.
Yeah, again,
it
great
was.
TV.
It was great. That's what I'm saying. It didn't look like he was this mean jerk hating on you, at least to my, you know,
well, it looked
eye.
like you guys did have a tight relationship, and it was almost like a brother-sister bond. But is it not like that? Are you saying it was more? That's what it looks
was like. I just felt like he was very like rooting for me because he loved Hulk Hogan. And
Right.
Like, we're gonna see her shoot lightning bolts out of her.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm a human. And
We're
I'm
waiting
a
for you to
girl.
hook up.
Were you,
The
were you
other
super
thing.
embarrassed when you saw Tori with her like Hulk Hogan get up at the
Oh god,
elimination?
it was so cute too. It was so
hilarious.
cute. Well, she's like so like Tori on a personal level is like really, really spiritual and like so nice. Like I don't even know how she survives the psychological game. Like I think she actually gets by doing my strategy of just being nice to everybody because she doesn't really play the nasty game or get involved
Exactly.
in that. But she's a great athlete.
And she laughs everything. I mean, she's got a great sense of humor. And it is, when you love all these people and you see some of them behaving badly, you just kind of feel like, oh, I hope you learn from this. But Tori does seem to have
Rookie of the year, man.
have
She's
come
super
through
athletic.
on the other end
Yeah.
of being just chill and nice and not, she could have gone both ways.
Yeah.
And we've seen her, I think, grow. And that's the best thing about us who've watched the challenge for 31 seasons. It was last season. It's really nice to see the old timers really grow. And you start off kind of hating the kids, and then you're like, oh,
The kids. Look at you now. You're saying
Well,
the
then you
kids.
see them come around. Like Kayla, I used to bash Kayla her first season. Now I'm like, I'm coming around to Kayla.
She wore on me too.
Yeah.
I like her now. I like, and we still text and like keep in touch. But Tori is the kind of person that should be in this business, making a good example for the younger generation. And plus, I thought they were going to send her in with me on that elimination with Cam.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be Tori, and I was shaking in my freaking tennis shoes.
Oh, yeah,
'cause
she's a beast.
Tori is like literally same body style as me,
Yeah.
maybe a couple inches shorter, but she's solid.
Yeah.
She's very athletic.
And Cam was as tall as I was, but she was a little lankier and a little like lighter.
Right.
And really, you needed that like
Daintier.
That's
butt
what I was gonna
muscle
ask
to
you.
weigh you down.
Because I think you're probably the best athlete physical specimen out there for the girls. Is there anybody who you think you can't take? That
Tori.
You're just
Well,
Tori?
what
I
about-
swear to
Well,
God,
what about
Tori.
Luis?
Luis is a
That's
pretty good
a bold
athlete.
statement.
Luis for speed, absolutely not. I would never be able to run as fast as she would. But Tori, like strength to strength.
Strength to strength.
I really think she'd be, because her and I just for fun like got down and ground wrestled a little bit
Nice.
and grappled, and she was strong. Like she put me in a leg lock, and I was like, oh my
tap?
god,
Well,
You tap?
I think
she
that
was strong.
Don't tell your dad.
it would be such a thing
bet.
for production to make sure you got in the elimination that was like tonight, where it is a wrestling match, because why would they not choose that?
Yeah,
the
right.
irony with you being
Right.
the wrestler's daughter.
Yeah.
How did you think that Devon and Wes did, being the expert on wrestling, and what would have been your strategy in
my
tonight's
gosh.
elimination?
Honestly, I couldn't have critiqued either of them because they were tethered to each other,
Yeah.
which is so hard. Like Shane and I were tethered to each other for that Release the Rainbow thing.
Yeah.
The ties around the jungle gym. And being that close where you don't have like body movement or momentum is so hard.
Right.
And they're both the same size, same height. You know, it's just like, and if you reach over to get somebody's tag, they can reach over your back.
course.
So,
Right.
we were just hoping that one of them would lay on their back and try to fight so that those tags couldn't be touched. But
Yeah,
I would
that's a
almost
good idea,
assume that's the
actually.
best strategy, like
Yeah.
just jiu-jitsu style. Just
I
on your
would've
back.
known.
That's you're gonna roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wes came in with almost like a freaking like flying armbar.
Right.
And that's
He
it.
was
Oh my gosh.
insane. It actually was a really good, intense elimination.
it was great.
Yeah.
And we were shocked by Devon's performance because
Yeah.
we love Devon. He's funny, but he's probably not the best competitor
Devin
physically.
is so sweet.
But the way that he went around and him and Wes went at it was really well done by them.
I mean, he surprised a lot of people who took out Johnny Bananas, even though physically when you look at him, but I mean, he is a strategist. I mean, he knows what he's doing. And in these games, it's not about always the physical. It's not always about the most physical thing. We actually have a question in the chat from Maurice Charles. As red team, would you have rather seen as the red team, would you guys have rather have seen Booby put in Devon or CT versus Wes? Do you guys think that it was a good decision that they actually put in Devon as opposed to CT when Booby could have put anybody in there?
I think personally they should have thrown CT if they really want to take out a big hitter. If that's really their strategy, you take I think Wes or CT are the two most dominant in my opinion, out of those guys.
Absolutely.
It's hard because all of the guys are great competitors on the champ side,
Yeah.
and we just wanted to take out a champ. You know, so it didn't really matter. I mean, yes, CT is heavy hitting, but you never know what the challenges are going to be. So it's like if it was speed or if it was upper body strength or if it was swimming. Yeah, it's like you just never know who's going to be good at what. Something Little Mama's great at, I could lose. If I had to crawl through a crawl space, she'd win.
Little Mama's really good at playing everybody, which I want to bring up.
She's so freaking cute. Like
her poker face is amazing.
So darling. Yeah.
You guys are playing this up that your red team is Team Red, and you have so much love for each other.
I don't care.
Meanwhile, she's like, I am so glad Devon left. Did you feel the same, or did you want Devon to stick around?
I actually felt terrible when Devon left. Yeah, because I lost the mentality of people against people and stars against champs. I was like, you know what? It all comes down to like how good you are, and if you go into elimination, win. You know, and stay. I mean, you know.
You were not interested in the politics at all.
Oh, God, I hated it. I was like, I can't, so.
Well,
like, sorry, Pam, I was just going to say, it seems like you, are, I dare say, are the only one playing with an actual conscience.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Oh, yeah. No, my mom is like, she taught me very, you know, have a conscience, this, not, so I can't even on TV, like, do something bad and be like,
yeah.
So if you were to go on again, whether it's a real challenge or a chance for stars, having done it now, is there anything that you did learn you would do differently? Would you still just not try to get into the social, political game?
I would have a little bit more fun with the game, actually. Yeah, and I would probably turn NWO and, like, side with the champs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wolfpack
Why?
or...
Who do you think would be
it's
your?
just more fun playing on their
just
side.
to just play dirty.
Who do you think would be your like Scott Hall and your
who's
Kevin
the
Nash? You know, out of everyone.
Out of who I was with, let me see. Oh my God. Well,
who's Diesel? Who's Razor Ramon?
Yeah.
Razor Ramon is
Scott
Tony.
Hall.
Tony?
Yeah.
Tony.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
Big
Hey,
sexy.
Chico.
Yeah.
And then let's see. I mean, Tony and CT are like seriously total NWO, but honestly, like they're like one set of NWO, and then Devon and Wes are one set.
Well, you got the white and the red,
And then
right?
Ashley and Kayla are like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. And Ashley, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how much I love that girl. She's so dark.
Okay,
Ashley's
I'm
like
glad
probably the
that-
macho man.
She has a pig for a pet. Like, oh my God, its name is Hamlet. It's ridiculous.
I'm glad that you
Not
brought
surprised.
her up because I wanted to see what your reaction was to her response to getting traded over to the blue team
Oh, God,
and her
she was so
freak
funny.
out.
She was so funny.
I loved it.
The two people that made us laugh the hardest were Wes and Ashley, because Wes, they didn't show much of it, but Wes acted like a little subservient, like he was chained to Casper and Casper was his like slave driver. and then Ashley, every single time she'd be on the blue, she'd just always be making faces and this and that. It was so cute.
So in that, I mean, I guess it's funny, but I don't understand any of it when it is for charity. Who cares what team you're on?
That's what I kept saying.
Why do you? I didn't from the get-go. I'm like, I don't get it. Then why are you fighting for the champ? You're not playing as a. I just don't get it.
That's
I
what
just
I was saying.
simply
And I'm
don't
like,
get it.
who
It's-
cares if you're helping animals, kids, diabetes, whatever?
charity,
It's like
right.
you're doing it for charity. Just have fun.
And at the end of it, it's like it doesn't. I don't know, and I'm anxious to get there. I hope that it dissolves soon. This champs versus stars inner thing, and just
No, it's
becomes.
not going to.
It's never going
The
to.
tension is going to
I'm
stay
waiting
there.
for more twists. There's
Man.
always a twist in this game, right? In the end, they could be playing for themselves. In the end, they could be, guy-girl
There's
combinations.
definitely a twist coming.
Ooh,
There it is.
spoiler alert.
Twisties.
So
Always.
you gotta watch. You gotta
Well,
watch.
I'm
I'm trying
loving.
to think of what our next challenge was.
I'm
what we
loving
did.
all of the power plays
Yeah.
that's happening
Well,
Oh yeah.
every episode.
Booby, do you know him well? Like, I love that Booby stuck to his guns, because for a second in this episode, when Wes has a sit down with Booby, I thought he was going to get to him and be able to turn him to not vote him in. And I loved the blue team stars being like, nah, man.
I love Drake in that.
Yeah.
I love how Drake
Drake
just
was-
kind of stepped
No,
up
bro.
and was like, yeah.
Yeah. Like, sorry.
He went so SoCal and he's like, bruh.
Bruh.
No, bruh.
It's like,
That's not how the game
bro,
works,
it's like
bro.
you're
He's like out of
negotiating. It's
nowhere,
different
like-
than cheating.
And I love that he always
be
has
mad.
like a
Right?
5-course meal in front of him.
Yes.
Nobody else is eating
Drake,
ever
I
except
swear
for
to God,
Drake.
Drake probably ate a total of 3 cows in a month. Seriously,
He's a
every
constant
part
eating
of the
steak.
cow.
Right.
For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, he would order that same steak dinner.
They had someone asking him about
And,
it
like-
last week. They're like, why do you do it? Is it like a health thing? And he's like, no, man, they just have
just
steak
love
here and I
steak.
like it.
Steak and eggs, and production obviously would provide us with like 2 meals a day, like lunch
Yeah.
and dinner or something, and
And he's
it's
ordering
like,
the
we're
steak
like, all right,
on his
we'll eat
own.
the eggs in the morning, and like
Yeah.
we'll have like a
Right.
cheeseburger at night or whatever.
Yeah.
He like paid for his own hotel dinner every meal and wanted that particular
wow.
It's kind of bougie.
thing every time.
Kind of Hollywood.
Very
Every
bougie.
time.
He was probably the skinniest dude there, eating
Well-
3
well, we-
cows his entire
I was like,
time.
where's it going? annoying.
Right.
I just love it too because everybody's sitting
cholesterol?
around this fireplace, deliberating, having this intense conversation. But don't worry, he has his knife and fork, his asparagus, and his fillet right in front of
ringback
him.
tone people used to put on their phones. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I picture that like royal music playing behind him.
Like he's like spreading Grey
Like a
Poupon.
cherry.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
something like that.
Well,
That is perfect.
We had Luis in recently, and she
yeah.
told us a funny story about he had like a certain request about the towels, I believe it was.
He was like, "You're gonna give us non-terry cloth, pure, like to
Yeah.
dry off
Oh,
after
he
something."
did.
Yeah, she was like,
he
she's
Non-absorbent
hilarious.
terry
They're
cloth.
like
Non-absorbent
when the
terry
yeah
cloth.
when the towels come from Target or something, you don't wash them and take the tags off first. We just got them straight from Target.
Clutch my pearls.
How
Oh
dare
my
you?
yeah, I was like, oh my
dare
god.
you.
He's like, he was holding it up. He's like, you're gonna give us this to dry off with, and I was like, oh.
I think there should be an entire blooper reel at the end
Oh,
of the
there should
season,
be. It
just
was
like
so
bad
funny.
and bougie Drake Bell. Just an
Yes.
entire
I've
I've got a
montage.
question about Booby. Is he really? He seems like the most chill,
He is
awesome guy.
exactly.
He seems like he. I want him to be like my best friend because you can tell he's just like the chillest guy. Always gives great
Yeah.
advice, and he's just never upset. He's just like, yeah, man,
He's
don't worry
very
about it.
old
Cool.
school gentleman, very attractive, very smart, and he's a father too. So that kind of that
Softens
kind
him?
of
Yeah.
that essence comes out of him, like that very.
Right.
So who did you make
Patient.
the
Yes.
best
Yeah.
relationship with on the show, and who do you still keep in contact with?
I still keep in contact, believe it or not, with the people that were probably like my enemies at the beginning. Shane, Ashley, and Kayla.
Wow. You're a champ now.
Frenemies.
Yeah,
Welcome
Frenemies?
to the.
I actually was texting all of them today, and I keep in touch with Salita.
Okay.
She's really sweet. Jose, every now and then I hear from him. Trying to think too.
You
Every
mean-
now and then I'll text Devon.
You mean Karma is a B-I-C?
CTA.
I'm like, does he not know how to spell that, or did he just do
Donkey,
it
you
on
gotta learn
purpose?
how to spell.
I think he did that for the sake of I can at least maybe say this on TV because if he were to say it, it's just extra.
This
And I
is the
think
thing,
he might be
he
an
meant
extra
it.
person. He
meant
meant
it.
it.
Oh, he meant it.
Yeah.
He meant. He
He
was
just-
like, that is how it is spelled.
He
Yeah.
misspelled it on purpose, and he was bringing that sass.
So will you watch, since now you've made friends with the champs, do you think you'll watch their next season? Like, are you
Oh, yeah.
interested now? Will
Oh,
you
yeah.
check out what they're shooting now?
Yep. And
Yeah.
now when they go to shoot stuff, I'll try to like be a PI and find out where they are.
Right.
Because they don't know and they can't tell their
course.
family or any friends. And I mean, production does not let them, and the
course,
only
contact.
time, and I can't talk about it either because it's like,
Yep. NDAs.
But you hear from them as they come back. And you're
Right.
like, oh my gosh,
Well, let me ask you this, because Luis has talked about actually being on an actual, challenge season. Can you see yourself like? I mean, now you've got a taste, like one and done, or do you just want to kind of maybe try the real thing?
I saw the challenge on Vendettas where they were jumping from car to car.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
such a brutal
And
challenge.
they didn't see things like this happen. They didn't replace the glass with plexiglass,
Yeah.
so real
No.
glass broke.
Talk
and I'm
about
like,
injuries.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff. I think when they have the stars on there, they're like, well, we can't kill them, so
Yeah, of course.
Right.
they're not going to totally sign their
This is
life
for
away. So we have to keep
charity.
it kind of safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
It's a
not
little
their
watered
job.
down.
I would do another Champ Stars though. I would.
Yeah. That seems like it to me, but it's like with the injury thing, it's like I'm not making 20 million a game or whatever,
Yeah.
and I'm not playing for money for myself
charity.
that if I get wounded I can retire on. So like not doing it. Yeah.
So let's loop back to you quickly while we still have a few minutes. You mentioned something very interesting before. So you started music career, as we saw, on Hogan Knows Best, Brooke Knows Best in the pop category. Now you've gravitated toward country. Yeah. Why country? And then you're also saying rap and hip hop.
It's
You have a
just-
whole...
I mean, I started writing. I've always written my own stuff, which I feel like is so rare nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, people don't write. I'm like, how can you take something somebody else wrote and sing it and be famous for that song? It's
Right.
crazy to me.
Exactly.
But so I started doing I don't know why it stuck, and I'm surprised that it did, being like little white girl Hulk Hogan's daughter and like coming out with Paul Wall, and then having a hip hop record. And then doing stuff with Flo Rida and just kind of go like, people are like, we're gonna make you a white Sierra, and I'm like, sweet, I love
Sure.
Sierra, awesome.
Is that what
Nice.
somebody told you?
That's like what
Like
the
a Hollywood
gist
record
was.
label?
Was like, do the white Sierra thing, because I had dance training and stuff, and it did work, and I loved doing it. And then when I moved to Nashville, actually kind of scared of Nashville. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna move to this podunk
awesome.
town. I'd never gone to Nashville, and I was like, I don't want to do country music. Like, I hate
Really?
yeah, like I just wasn't into it. But I went there because I was working with Dixie Carter, who
Oh, wow.
had TNA Wrestling on Spike, and
Nice.
she wanted me to come manage her female division. And she was like,
Wow.
if you come do this, I can, put you in touch with some music people in Nashville. It's not just country there. Like, you can do other stuff. And I got sucked into a bunch of writer sessions and fell in love with how they make country music. Like, real instrumentation, real amazing writers that don't just, like, put baby, pop your booty and lay down on my pillow. It's like, this, everything,
Real
like,
music.
really,
Real
they
lyrics.
Lay down on the
care
pillow.
about telling the song. And,
So
and they'll have debates of, like, but how would that work if they met when they were 12 and then saw each other when they were 30? That doesn't make sense. Like, they actually have conversations about the story of the song.
No, I really enjoy this conversation because I was a professional musician for a long time. So me personally, I 100% agree with what you're saying as far as music today. In fact, I'm so turned off by music today.
Yeah, me
to
too.
see a real musician, a real artist, and actually have a talent in a craft and put something together with real instruments and not just hitting buttons and a beat and saying the most ridiculous thing because it's catchy and will sell. To hear that, I mean, that's amazing. So that's an actual artist.
Some
and I
pop
appreciate
records
that.
are amazing with their melodies. I think are really great. I'm a big fan of pop melodies because my first label I got signed to was Transcontinental Records. That was like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC,
Right.
Britney, that whole Lou Pearlman camp. And they were like, there's an actual formula to writing pop music. The melody goes up, it comes back down. There's this many bars. So you can kind of like, they had a formula for a hit, which is why every single Britney Spears Backstreet Boys song has the same chord progression.
Yeah, it really always
Yeah,
is.
it's a secret. Yeah.
So you don't bump About Us anymore in the car, maybe, if you're
I
feeling
did the
it?
other day,
You did?
actually.
Yes.
And when they decided that was going to be the single, I was like, oh my God, that's the worst song on the record. I hate that song. All written by Pooh Bear, who wrote all of Justin Bieber's new record.
Look at that.
I had Pooh Bear writing it with
It was
me.
a certified banger.
Oh my God, I had no idea. Me and, I was 18. I thought Pooh was like the cutest thing I've ever seen because he was just like this like chunky little like guy. And he was so nice, but who would have known
That
he'd
is
be
so
writing
funny.
for Bieber now? When Bieber was 5, he was writing for me. So
Unfortunately, we are out of time, but so I just want to make mention so everybody can go check it out. Your EP is Songs of Song, or I'm sorry,
EP of songs.
That's
That's what it's called.
your EP is So Many Summers.
Yeah.
And are you releasing a full album soon, or everyone could just go check that out on iTunes?
Nowadays, you just like release
Just singles and
One
little
by
singles,
one.
little things. I don't know, just
Yeah.
whatever I'm feeling. I'm kind of in that spot where I don't really care because I'm like, I'm a songwriter. I'm just gonna release it, and if you guys like it, fine. If not, I don't care. It's whatever.
Okay.
Do you
You're an artist.
perform live ever?
I used to, and you know what? That's what I really miss. Actually,
Yeah.
I really miss performing live. I've wanted to do Dancing with the Stars, but I don't know. I feel like someone in Hollywood is like stopping me from going on that show. So.
No,
We'll
we
see.
gotta
I think
make
you just
that
tell them who
happen.
your
Get 'em out
dad
of
is,
the
and I think your
way.
dad can
Right,
just
my
probably
dad
take
will
care of
leg drop you if you don't
Yeah.
put me on the show.
Yeah.
it. Body slam you.
All right, and then where can everybody find you on social media and tweet at you?
Well, when I thought I was all cool, my Instagram and my Twitter is Ms. M-I-Z-Z Hogan, if you nasty.
Nice.
Ms. Hogan, and then Snapchat is real Ms. Hogan.
Oh, the real Ms.
Yeah.
Hogan. Follow her on
Somebody
Snapchat,
had Ms.
y'all.
Hogan on Snapchat when Snapchat came
Has,
out. I was
has
like,
anyone ever confused you with because there's a wrestler named The Miz?
Yeah,
The
he's
Miz.
hosting the
And
show we
Hogan,
watch.
right?
Yeah.
He's hosting the
I
after
think
show. I
he
was like,
did
are you
his
guys
Miz
married?
thing. I
Yeah.
think he did his Miz thing after I came up with the Ms. Hogan.
Yeah.
She's
But
the
there's-
original Ms.
There's a
Yeah.
Brooke Hogan model in Australia that's like a beautiful model. She's like super skinny and like gorgeous, and her actual real name is Brooke Hogan.
Wow.
Yeah. My name's
Well.
Brooke
Does she
Balea.
look
Yeah,
like
Brick
you?
Balea. Brick Balea.
But I've used Brooke Hogan for so long that I
course.
kind of like
Yeah.
I have staying power in the trademark
There
business.
you go.
All right, Brooke, well, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on. We're
you.
so happy we
Thank
could
you.
have you live in studio.
Yes.
This was amazing. Let's wrap up, guys. My name is Jenna Bussiere. You can find me on Twitter at Jenna_Bussiere. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Champs vs. Stars recap with Ms. Hogan.
What's up? It's your boy Jay Yang. You can find me on Instagram at your boy Jay Yang.
Nice. Pamela Gross, Jill. Thank you.
Thanks again, guys, for joining us. It was fun. Thank you again, Brooke. David Punkrock Christopher, as always, find me Instagram, David Punkrock Christopher, Twitter, DPR Christopher. Thanks a lot, guys. Good night.
All right, thank you, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Bad.
Hearing are those of the host only, not necessarily reflect views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.